Welcome to the Boschcast with James Boschman and Denise Young, where we talk about Manitoba real estate and everything else that's on our minds.
So, welcome to episode 18 of the Boschcast with Rhett and Denise.
Hi.
And as you can tell, James is not on the podcast today, so we had to get the dollar store Boschman on the podcast today to fill in for him.
The dollar store version.
Yeah, the one who's not as experienced, not as good looking,
but much I don't know, more fun and young
maybe,
and fun.
Yeah, you could say more young for sure.
Young and fun. There we are.
Yep. So how's things going with you these days?
Well, myself, good. I feel like I need to start hibernating now that the weather turned on us. And I know we should be thankful for how nice it has been. But man, that wind has been cold the last few days.
It's been so weird because you think that with no snow on the ground that the weather should be nice, but then yet you get this ice cold wind shivering up your spine. And
yeah,
it's a weird feeling.
I was doing a showing the other day and I'm like, got the toque all the way down and still freezing. Yeah.
And they don't have to shovel any driveways yet.
Yeah, at least we didn't have to shovel, but
yeah, it'll come eventually. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so do you got any dad jokes for us?
Yeah, I guess that's how you start these things off, is with some dad jokes. So
We have a couple of real stinkers, but
we'll see if I can do as good as he does.
All right.
So did I tell you about my printer last night?
No.
I was a little bit confused because it was playing music. Turns out the paper was just jamming.
Oh my God. That was good enough. I might tell my nephew that one.
Maybe. Did you want to hear another paper joke?
I guess I'll say yes.
You probably don't want to hear it. It's terrible.
Oh, geez.
Okay. I got one more that's related to this season. So, Why does Santa use GPS?
Why?
Because he doesn't want to be a lost clause.
Oh, jeez. That's funny.
Oh.
That one's cute. Now when my little niece.
Yeah, she'll like that one. He's got to start programming and getting his reindeers ready.
Yeah.
Just over 1 month until Christmas.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's bonkers.
Yeah. In a month from today, we'll be celebrating Christmas Eve. Yeah.
I mean, there better be some snow on the ground. It feels weird trying to get into the Christmas spirit without any snow.
Yes, I agree. Yes, getting some snow would definitely help. Definitely.
That's the whole part of the Christmas season. You see in the movies, there's snow, and especially being from Manitoba, you'd think that there'd be snow on the ground, and yet we have very little.
Yeah. Have you ever been south for close to Christmas?
Once. I've been there, or I've been to Hawaii for Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
And it did not feel like Christmas. You still have all your Christmas decorations and stuff, but it just doesn't feel the same.
Yeah. I've been a few different places around Christmas time. And yeah, you're right. The only place that I think does a really good job of making it feel like Christmas without the snow is Disney.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's probably a close second.
Yeah.
But you're so engrossed. You have the buildings that are basically encompassing you wherever you go. So you can just put fake snow on the roofs or whatever. And
they just decorate the heck out of everything.
I don't want to know what their budget is for trying to decorate all the parks. And
yeah, well, that's ridiculous. What they are, right?
That's true.
Yeah, we're paying for it. But Disney at Christmas. If you have to be south, that's an amazing place at Christmas.
I'll keep that in my back pocket just in case.
I always enjoy the late night Christmas party that they often put on,
Like
because they only
every
allow.
night?
No, I think it's almost every night of the month of Christmas, and it's like from like I want to say from 5 till 1, and it's limited tickets, so there's no lineups at all.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then there's quite a few things that aren't open, like the theater things or whatever, but the rides are open and they give out like free drinks and free ice cream and cookies and popcorn.
And
I'm
probably
like,
no screaming kids if it's past 5 o'clock because they'll be hidden going
yeah,
to
I
bed in
still
the
saw
next 2 hours.
but I found like the kids were happier. Like I found that during the day. I always joke, I don't feel like Disney is the happiest place on earth. People are screaming at their kids to stop crying and enjoy themselves because they paid so much money to be there.
And then the kids will scream even more because they're being yelled at, and it's
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
No, I think people try taking their kids when they're too young. Like I know Jesse Peters is there right now, and his kids look like the right ages to be like to really enjoy it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to take kids that are super young, because I don't remember what I was doing when I was 3 years old.
No, I know. But sometimes it's even about like having not necessarily the memories, but the feeling of that family togetherness, right?
Yeah.
So some people start doing that early, but yeah, I think if your kids aren't enjoying it, you're not getting that nice feeling of family togetherness. You're kind of, putting in this like fear of of being yelled at.
You got a bit more resentment.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably more so for the parents. If they want to feel that sense of family connection, then they're going to bring their child along, even if their child doesn't know, but they don't want to leave their child at home and go there by themselves, because then they feel a piece of them is missing.
Yeah, exactly. I know when people ask me for Disney advice, because I used to go a lot, so some people would ask me for advice, I always say plan to go back and have naps, because even as adults we still love to go back and have a nap at like 2 o'clock, and that way you can make it until like fireworks later in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like if you plan for a nap, and it's usually hot, so like we like to have a cold shower, have a nap, and then go back. And then
Second
it's
wind.
like it's a complete second wind. Yeah, it makes a huge difference. So if it's making a difference for me, I can't imagine what it's doing for a little one.
But the amount of steps that you put on in a day there, you're easily crossing 15,000, 20,000 steps.
Yeah,
and
sure.
there's a good chance that you're not doing that in your everyday life. So you probably are tired for a good reason.
Yeah, so a nap definitely helps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even if it's short, but yeah. So what's going on in the market? What are you seeing?
What's going on in the market is Mr. Macklin there was making some interesting comments that got released a couple days ago or something. He had a conference out in Newfoundland.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, saying that he thinks that rates have probably peaked.
Yeah.
So I mean that's good news. It's just now it's a matter of when that they're going to start dropping rates.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, their next announcement's December 6th, so not far off. And I'm pretty sure all of us are predicting that they're going to continue to hold right now. Maybe they'll surprise us and drop it a little, but I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that they'll just hold right now.
Yeah, and
I think it'll be February maybe when they do a small drop.
That's what I've heard too. I've heard anywhere from end of Q1 to beginning of Q2 type deal for when they want to start dropping. But when they're going to drop, then they're going to drop fast. Just because with the amount of mortgage renewals that people had when they were applying in COVID, that when they have to renew, then all of a sudden they have no discretionary income to spend on other things.
Yeah.
So
I know myself, I had to renew in June. So
so you were probably getting a pretty rate at those times.
Yeah. I went from a 2.59 to a 6.33.
Yeah. That's not good.
No.
But you have to feel for people who had variable rates when in like 2020, 2021, and then you're going up whatever 5 percentage points over the course of year and a half, 2 years. Like, you got to be kicking yourself now.
Yes, I know. I kick myself, and I was happy with what I did in some ways, because I kicked myself because in 2020, I always had variable up until the pandemic hit. I had a variable rate mortgage. When the pandemic hit, because of all the unknown, I panicked and I locked in.
Mm-hmm.
And right at the very beginning of the pandemic, I locked in. But I only locked in for 3 years, because I'm like, well, it's not going to take that long to get out of this, right? So I didn't want to do the full 5. Mm-hmm. And then that's where I kicked myself. I wish I had done the full 5.
It's just like gambling.
Yeah.
Until.
But had I been on variable rate, I would have been paying a lot higher sooner than I am doing it this way. But it is what it is, right? So we have to try to deal with it. We're putting a lot less into our retirement right now until we get out of this. And you just got to do what you can do so that you're paying an extra $5.50 a month, right? Like, that money has to come from somewhere.
Exactly.
And it can't come from the grocery budget or the gas budget.
Not the necessities. Yeah, so one thing you learn when you get into this business is you learn the budget very well.
Yes.
And then you start to look at everything of necessities and not necessities. And do I really think I should be going out for coffee every single day this week? Probably not.
No.
But I mean, another thing that heard was when they released their CPI or inflation announcement the other day, went down from 3.8 to 3.1. So that's a decent jump.
Yeah.
And I think most of that came from gas.
Oh,
if it wasn't mistaken, if they took the gas out, then it only would have decreased to either 3.7 or 3.6. It wasn't much. So, and then I saw on Bloomberg the other day that there was a Desjardins economist on there, and he said that they target, without food, fuel, and there's one more in there, but they predict that inflation would get down below 2% by sometime next year or beginning of 2025.
Yeah.
Which, that seems very, very steep.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's one of those things where you just gotta ride it out and see.
Believe that inflation has come down, though, when like the grocery store prices are still so high. Like, if you are comparing like grocery prices right now to grocery prices of like 2020 or 2019, like the prices are still so high, especially on meat. But like, most of the basics have gone up so much, and I don't buy a ton I mean, we eat in our house, but we're very like, this is the only, let's say 25 things I buy every week or whatever. But I really notice it when I'm like shopping for the Christmas hampers, like putting the budget together for the Christmas hampers, the grocery budget for the Christmas hampers. Like, what I do is I put it all into, say, Walmart and Superstore and average them out, looking at the non-sale items, because we can't guarantee we're going to get the sale items, to make my budget for it. And then we will get some sale items, so that'll come down a little bit. But when you're budgeting, you have to budget worst case scenario. And I feel like groceries have doubled in price to do a hamper. Like, it's just crazy. Like, I used to be able to do a 4 to 5 person family for under $250. And now it's not doubled, I guess. It's like $390, which is, very close to double. It's probably 40% more. So yeah, I feel like, it's hard to believe that it's come down, that, their inflation rate is lowered that much when we're not really seeing that at grocery stores.
Yeah, that part's tough. And again, going back to your hamper point, that just goes to show how much they really do need help. Right. Because especially with you and Jameis, and with only me buying groceries for myself, we don't seem to be affected by it so much. But once you start getting into families of 4, 5, 6 people, that grocery bill just skyrockets.
Yeah. Put a couple of teenage boys in there and your grocery bill is
Oh,
very
oh,
expensive. I can't
and
even imagine.
those teenage boys have friends too.
Yeah,
So
right.
they
Well,
see free
it's
food in the
funny that
fridge.
you say that because I have a 16-year-old niece, and there are weeks where her mom's like, "You can't have friends over this week because I can't afford to feed them." Right?
Wow.
Like, because that is a consideration in their weekly budget is, can you afford to have friends come over this week or not? Right?
Which
Like,
that's a harsh reality to
it is a harsh
face.
reality, right? Like single income family, like there's not a lot of flexibility in that budget.
And you're already stretching as much out as you can. You're planning for the week or however often you go to buy groceries.
Yeah.
And you get someone in there to ruffle some feathers, then that throws your whole plan out for a loop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If she has, like, I'll say, like, her boyfriend come over, I'm sure like he could probably eat them out of house and home in no time. So yeah, I understand why her mom has to say sometimes, no, you can't have friends over, right? Like, I can't afford to.
Because do you want to tell your guests that no, you can't eat food? It's a lot easier to say to not come over than to have them come over and then tell them to their face.
Sorry,
like,
you eat too
keep your
much.
mouth shut.
You have to bring your own snacks.
Like, what is this, a field trip? I don't want to bring my own food come over.
Yeah, I know. I think we've had it good for a long time, because if I think back to being that age, I remember having to, like, think about that. If I have friends over, do we have anything in the pantry? Or, like, I remember, like, actually making cookies so that there would be something to give to my friends if they came over, right? Like, but that's a long time ago.
I think they still have some things now.
Yeah.
The one thing I've heard is there's the stereotype that goes around for some households. They're called ingredient households.
Okay.
So these are the type of people who only buy ingredients and they have nothing already pre-made or pre-packaged.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to snack or to find anything, because if you want something, you have to make it.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to take the time to make anything.
No one wants to
no one's going to go to the pantry and grab a potato and eat a raw potato.
Yeah.
It's just, that's not a fun snack.
No one wants to get the mandolin out and slice them all up and put them in the oven and make dollar fries.
No. Because the amount of time it takes, they just want something quick, easy, and throw in their mouth and forget about it.
Pizza pop to put in the toaster oven, and that's it.
Yeah, whole sleeve of Oreos gone.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, I have a couple of buyers going on right now. So live market wise, I've been showing in that 450 to 500 range, and I'm noticing, like, a lot of stuff is kind of sitting. There is a few, but there is, like, the really good ones that are like that your clients really love. Those ones are still going into multiple offers, of course, right? Like, because there is still a lack of inventory. There's not a ton to look at. I was wanting to show them, like, all the move-in ready houses in Niverville, for instance. And there was only one resale to show them. And there was lots of new homes to show them in that 450 or 430 to 500 range. And but yeah, nothing, only one resale. So, like, the lack of inventory is definitely still impacting the market. And then, they're still kind of all over the place with areas. So I have been in other areas too, and I'm seeing the exact same thing, right? Lack of inventory. The stuff that is sitting usually I won't say usually has a big problem, but but has things wrong, right? Like, it doesn't show very well. Like, we looked at one that was so dirty, it's hard to imagine living in it, right? Like, and, so yeah, it's going to sit. It's I think it's priced properly for that area, but it's so dirty, it's hard for people to imagine what it would be like to live in it, right? So I think that's why it's sitting on the market. So nothing really wrong with it. But yeah, and then just other areas. And like some of these are like city areas we've looked in, and then, yeah, just watching the market, like watching our watch lists that we always check out every day. I'm still seeing, at least a dozen a week going well over asking. So obviously multiple offers, because people don't pay over asking unless there's another couple offers. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing in, live in the Winnipeg market or Winnipeg and surrounding areas. And I was talking to a couple of our mortgage specialists, mortgage brokers, and it looks like the median rate right now is 5.69, and promos are hitting in around 5.39 and 5.24.
Holy.
Yeah, I'm like, ooh, that was texted to me this morning. So that's very, very current. So yeah, interesting. It would be interesting to know what the terms on that are.
That's true. I need some more details in that regard.
There's, bad penalties when you get that really crazy promo rate. So I would be cautious going into that, but
it's nice to see the bright stars in front of you, but you gotta travel a little further to see what's behind.
Yeah. What am I getting myself into?
But nonetheless, it's a pretty good rate for these times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where I think regardless of if we're in a buyer's or a seller's market, there's always going to be people wanting to buy or sell. It's just whoever's qualified and is willing to make that decision.
Yes. My opinion right now is, even though it is a buyer's market and rates aren't looking great, but because it's a buyer's market, it's a great time to buy, in the sense that like a rate is only for a couple of years, right? You don't have to lock that in for 5. You could lock that in for 2. I mean, it might be slightly higher if you lock in only at 2, but then you can renew in a couple of years at like rates that have like more leveled out, right? We're never going to see COVID rates again. So like that's dreaming. We're not going to see that. Might as well forget about that. But once you can get into the market, the one nice thing about getting into the market right now is the ability to put more conditions, the ability to take your time making a decision, your ability to likely have an inspection, right? Like, it's not just about rate. It's not about how much money am I going to save? Yes, saving money is important. You know what? You're going to save money by not having to bid 100,000 over asking. So yes, you might have a higher rate for a couple of years, but that savings and that peace of mind that you're going to have, like when we go back to when rates were at their lowest, the market was at its craziest. We were allowed to look at a house for 30 minutes with just the buyers and their realtor because of COVID restrictions, right? And it was hard to get appointments. So to try to get a second appointment was next to impossible half the time. You couldn't write inspections on. The actual feeling of satisfaction was so low. There was like way more complaints at the lawyer's office after, right? So I mean, how can you look at everything in 30 minutes, right? Like, how does a buyer inspect the entire property? And Manitoba is a buyer beware province. So if you don't ask the questions and learn about the property, it's on you. And that's why there was so much dissatisfaction, right? So I just feel like now you can take your time looking at a property. You can book several appointments if you need more time. You can have an inspection before or after because there's time to. Whereas like even before, like, yeah, you could have booked it before an inspection before the offer, but likelihood of actually getting a time slot. Like we had one listing. This is just one example out of many, but we had one listing where our clients had moved out and we had solid appointments because they were only allowed to have one appointment at a time from 7 a.m. till 11 o'clock at night for 5 solid days, right? Because there was so much pent up demand in that specific neighborhood. And that house was the smallest 2-story that had sold in that area. So he had priced it under what the other ones had sold for because it was smaller, and it sold for higher than any of the other ones, which is ridiculous. Right? Like but there was so much pent up demand that the market did that, right?
And going back to that point, if you look at the rates now, and I mean they're still decent for these times, but you go fast forward maybe 6 months into the future when then it becomes a seller's market and you're bidding 50, 60, 70 over asking.
And
then
rates are only gonna maybe have dropped 0.5.
So any savings that you would have made from the rates, they're going to be completely negated by the amount that you're spending on the total purchase price.
Absolutely. That's why I've been telling my buyers, buy right now. If we can find something to buy, let's buy it now. Like if you can see yourself in this, like let's not worry about nickels and dimes when we should be worrying about the big money, right? Like buy right now. Anyway,
that's some
I could
pretty solid advice.
I could talk about that all day. So I'll move. Oh, I never moved to talk about it. So that was, see, I didn't move any of my tickers.
See, even though I shouldn't be the host. You're the host. You're moving the banner.
I'm going to move to the next one now, though. Story time, adventures in real estate.
Okay. You tell your story.
I have a story, but it's not a very long story, but it's cute and a little funny and also a good lesson. So I'm calling my story "The Cat Came Back." So I had a listing way back. I don't even remember what year it was. It had to have been a while ago. It's my grandma's 80th birthday, so I was away for the open house. That's how I remember. And I was away for the open house, and I had someone else doing the open house. So my clients had gotten the house ready, moved in with her sister, she had like 4 or 5 cats and a dog and stuff. So it was best for them to move out to make sure that all the animals were out of the way and not going to be escaping during showings and stuff like that. Right. So they moved to a different part of it. The listing was in St. Mattel, and they moved over to Niagara Place, which is actually across the Seine River, right? And so yeah, they moved out, and during the open house, my colleague that was doing the open house for me, since I was in BC visiting my grandma for her 80th birthday, she texts me, "This cat's trying to get in the house," and she takes a picture of it, and I'm like, "Oh no, I don't remember the cat's name, but I knew the cat because this client was also a friend of mine." And I'm like, "Oh no, I'll text the owner and let her know that the cat's at the house," right? And the cat liked to escape. It had previously been a farm cat, so it would like always escape from the house, right? And they always had such a hard time not letting it escape and wander about. So it came back to the house during the open house. And then so she had let it in, and then my client went and got the cat, took her back. By the end of the open house, the cat was back again.
What the heck?
The cat did not want to stay at Auntie's. And then so okay, that's fine. We sell the house, they get ready, and they move. And they move to the country. So they're like way out, I'll say like near Dufresne, Manitoba, right? So it's not like they didn't move out to like McGregor or something, right? It's still fairly close to the city, but it's like a long ways to this, from St. Mattel. Anyway, so they move out there, and again, the cat wants to get outside all the time, and the odd time slips past them, and I'd get a call from the new buyer of the house. "This cat's trying to get in my house. Is this the seller's cat?" With a picture of him. "Oh yeah, that's him."
So this cat went from Dufresne back to the old house.
Yeah. So my clients go and pick up her cat and then take her home, manage to keep it inside like longer than ever, because this cat, like, he's miserable not going outside. Anyway, so I don't know. I don't even think it was 2 weeks later, the cat's at the house in St. Mattel again. And the cat just kept showing up there. And around the 3rd or 4th time, the buyer's like, oh, she's such a nice cat. Yeah, you don't even have to hurry to pick her up. She's just gonna come back anyway. And they had a chat, and they decided that the cat would stay at the house because obviously this cat wanted to be at the house.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she would let the cat out to, into the backyard, and she wouldn't leave at all. She wouldn't even like explore the neighborhood. She would stay in her backyard and come back in her house. So she was definitely more attached to the house than the people.
Mm-hmm. But those farm cats are so slick. They can get out of anywhere.
I know, right? And I'm like, gee whiz, like, and you don't even notice, right? So,
and tough as nails. That's another thing. You think something so fragile like a cat would crumple under pressure, but
no, I remember having a cat when I was a little kid, and it was a farm cat. We had brought it home from a farm near Sprague, Manitoba, where my stepdad used to live, or my step-grandpa used to live, I mean. And so we had brought this cat, and I named it Cuddles. It would cuddle in bed with me and everything. And then and then when it was out, because back then you always let your cats out, even in the city, right? I don't recall. I was little, so I don't know if there was a bylaw against it or not, but but everyone's cats were out back then. And we had German Shepherds on this side and Doberman Pinschers on this side, and my cat would walk along the fence, daring them to bark at her. And if they barked, she'd swat them across the faces, and you'd hear from the poor dogs.
Just a taunter and a showman. Oh yeah. My.
Yeah.
Those cats are a different breed, that's for sure.
Yeah. I think it was part Siamese because it was so loud. We had a big old 3-story house in Transcona, and I could be in my room on the 3rd floor and hear my cat at the back door.
Yeah, that's a bit nuts.
Maybe that says more about our insulation than it does about the cats meowing, but I don't know.
Maybe. What do you say about insulation? Are we talking about Renos?
Yeah, we are going to talk about Renos. Yes.
What a great transition into our topic of the day.
I did manage to change it. So
you did. That looks good.
So so I thought it would be a good idea to talk about the affordable, high impact DIY renovations that either have a high impact on sale or enjoyability.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One thing I like to mention before we talk about like the renovations that we like to do is to make sure that the stuff that needs to be done is done. Often we see houses that have been like, prettied up and have a beautiful kitchen, but yet the shingles are still in disrepair, and then the house ends up leaking or whatnot. So it's always good to take care of the have-tos before the nice things.
That's true.
Yeah, because shingles might not affect your return on investment, or there might not be a huge return on investment on shingles, but they could actually stop a sale if they're bad, right? Like whether it be the people just don't want to do it because they, it's not a fun thing to do, or if they're bad enough, even the mortgage lender, if they decide to do an appraisal, they could decide that they're too poor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And to try and negate any future damage as well, because you could simply just take the cost of the shingles and do them then and there, but then you don't know what future damage could hold from.
Absolutely.
From that.
Once the roof starts leaking, now you have insulation that's been damaged. Now you have possibly drywall, possibly
electrical,
mold, possibly. Yes, exactly. So many other things. Yeah. But yeah, so let's get to our 5 DIY jobs that you can do with considerable impact.
Mm-hmm. So first one is painting and staining. So something that's super simple to do, super easy, but can really brighten up or liven a space.
Yes. I should have actually pulled out some before and after pictures of even just this room.
Mm-hmm.
because this room was like a taupe. And so when my husband painted it during COVID, what a difference it made going from taupe to this, it's like a grayish, because
Mm-hmm.
I have like too much brown in my house to go completely gray, but but it made a huge impact. Some important things to remember when you're painting on your own is to keep it neat and tidy. You want it to look like a professional job, because if you're getting like blue paint on the ceiling, that is not going to look good.
No. Yeah, making sure you're taping and keeping a clean service area. Probably even best to take the stuff out if you're thinking about moving, and just in the process, instead of moving stuff out of the room, you're going to do it eventually. So just do it then you have no risk of getting paint on anything else, and then you can tape off the room and go from there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it can make impact by bringing it to more up-to-date colors, as well as we tend to wear and tear on our walls anyway. There's usually scuffs and nicks and whatever. So get all that repaired and then paint, and everything looks much newer.
Mm-hmm. And the same with staining. If you have hardwood floors, then it helps brings that sheen back and livens them up, make them seem like you just put new floors in, but
exactly
new exterior.
Floors is amazing. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and most likely you'll get a good ROI on painting and in staining as well.
Yeah, I think NAR didn't have the stats on painting the interior for the ROI, but for staining or refinishing the floors, I think it was somewhere it was well over 100%.
Yeah, it was 118%.
Yeah.
So you're making money with it. So
it's
good idea.
High impact on your return on investment. Yeah. And then, that does bring us into replacing flooring as number 2. If you're replacing the flooring, I think that NAR had said that the ROI was around 160. I don't have that one in front of me. Sorry.
So it's the new hardwood refinish. That one was 147, and then the new flooring was 118.
Okay, there we go.
So that makes.
I knew the two were both very high.
Yeah.
For flooring, because flooring impacts the look of your entire house, right? So I find the majority of people are trying to get rid of carpet. There's the odd person that wants carpet, but if you're going from carpet or old laminates to a newer hardwood, or I was in a house the other day that had parquet floors, and they weren't in terrible condition. If you stained them, they would definitely be a good temporary floor until someone could afford to put in brand new flooring, right? Like it would definitely look better than the worn out carpets that are in many of the rooms. I'd be ripping that out and put in and refinishing those parquets for now.
But you still even see carpet in a lot of new builds too. Like maybe only in the secondary bedrooms or in an attic or something, but they're just not the main.
Not usually
your main flooring. No.
Yeah.
And vinyls and laminates are getting so good these days that you really don't even notice the difference between that and hardwood with some stuff.
I know there is so many nice vinyls out now too. Like I'm so impressed with some of them. They look like real tile until you're actually walking on them or touching them, right? Or there's just so many nice vinyls now. So I think flooring is definitely an easy one. And if you're doing like vinyl plank or laminates, those are easy click together. Those are really easy do it yourself projects, and there's a million YouTube videos on how to cut the edges if you have to like go around a corner or something like that.
YouTube is amazing in that regard.
Yeah, exactly. But those are really easy floorings to do by yourself instead of because we're trying to do a DIY, right? Like, so those ones are easy.
Try not to do the $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 Renos before potentially selling, especially if you maybe have a property that could, or you have a vision for it, but you know that you're not going to be living in it for very long. Then it's better to give someone else the vision and let them pay the money to make those changes, and rather than you do it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but if you are going to do a big reno, make sure you're taking out permits for whatever needs to be done.
That's true.
That's
And
a
also
disclosure.
talking to your realtor,
Yeah.
trying to get a market analysis done, because if you're going to do a big reno and only be living in your house for a few years, then if you're going to be having a nicely renovated house in a market that's, or in an area that's not too, doesn't replicate that, then it's going to
Yeah.
devalue your house and you're not going to get your money back for your,
Yeah, you
for
don't
your
want to
renos.
over-improve. If the average house price is around 450 in your neighborhood and nothing has ever gone over 500, you don't want to be making your house worth 550 because it will be very hard to sell it,
Mhm.
right? It makes it a lot harder to sell. That being said, you know, a good realtor will be able to tell you if they think it's possible or not, right? Like, yeah. Yeah. Another high impact, affordable um, upgrade is LED lighting.
Mm.
So we did that. That's another one we did when we painted, actually, and it was huge. Like the change, like even having the nicer color paint and then changing the lighting, the paint just looked way nicer than with the incandescent lighting, and everything looked nicer. It looked brighter, lighter. You do want to make sure you're using the right tones, and there is also hydro bonuses. Like we had the instant rebates right at the till when we ordered our bulbs, or when we bought our bulbs. I think we got $5 or $10 back because we had bought like the bulbs he had bought were almost $20 each. Yeah, and then he had bought a couple of new light fixtures. But again, if you're doing light fixtures, you don't need to have a permit, but you want to make sure that you have someone that knows how to do electrical.
That's what's important.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I luckily have someone that can do electrical, but I have heard of some people looking at that on YouTube. I'm a little leery about doing electrical myself without actually learning it.
Because usually by learning, then you end up doing something wrong, and that could mean shocking yourself or
Yeah. My husband does have a little tester he uses to make sure that the line has been shut off, just to make sure, because you go downstairs and you shut off the breaker, and it's so easy to not turn off the right one. So he's done enough electrical in his life that he's been shocked several times. So he knows not to trust that this line has actually been shut off. So he does use his little tester to make sure that it is dead.
Smart man.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about those LED lights too is that they can make a room seem bigger also.
Yes.
It's not so dark, and then the corners don't get any light, but if you can get a couple nice LEDs, then opens up the corners, and suddenly you have space that you didn't have before.
Exactly. And they seem to last a lot longer. Maybe it's because we put dimmers on some of them. Some of them are so bright we had to put dimmers on them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, huge impact there. Yeah. The tone difference.
And can't you go to Home Depot or whatever, and then they have the sliding scale of the light? Yeah. They have like a demo light, and then you can match it with your paint or whatever to give it.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's pretty smart.
Yeah.
And that way you don't have to buy some and guess and go home and realize you got the wrong tone.
Well, most of those places do have good return policies, at least. So if you do buy the wrong tone, you can take it back. The fixtures, I know you can't. Let's see if we can see. No, you can't see the one I have in this room. The one I have in this room has a switch on it. Actually, this one was bought at Costco, and it has a switch to go to like warm or cool.
Oh, smart.
Yeah, I love it, because then you literally can see how it feels in the room with whatever warm, and then change it to cool and feel how it feels in the room, right? Mm-hmm. And that way, if you don't like it one way, you're going to like it the other way.
Well, at least you have options and you're not stuck with just one.
Yeah, exactly. I think there might have even been another switch for I don't remember what the other setting is. I'm pretty sure these ones had 2 settings on them. Yeah.
Beauty of Costco.
Yeah, I know. Costco can be amazing.
Very, very true.
For this kind of stuff. Yeah. Same with for flooring. If you're buying your click together flooring, the Costco flooring is always good quality, and they often have it a much cheaper price than you can buy elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Some other small improvements to livability that make big impact are things like putting up a backsplash.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that's another Costco. They have those peel and stick ones that look like tiles, right? And then they just stick right to the, and you can literally.
Are we making this a Costco sponsored video? Are we sponsored?
I know, right? I'm sure you can buy those elsewhere. I know someone in my family did them, and they bought them at Costco, and just like you literally cut them with scissors, and then put it on, and looked gorgeous. Closet upgrades. If you're wanting to put in like organizers, or I love the pack system from IKEA. See,
those are nice. Yeah.
The pack system from IKEA is beautiful, and it's amazing, like the kind of impact that can make, to especially your enjoyability of the property, not just resale. New appliances, that's a lot more expensive, and not, but it is definitely easy, to do. It's just, buy new appliances and get rid of the old ones.
And what about like handles and such for kitchen cabinets and stuff?
Yeah, changing the handles or painting the cupboards. That takes us back to like painting, right? Really, we should have brought up cupboards. You could easily refinish the cupboards, whether it be staining or painting, and it can have a huge impact on the kitchen. I had a listing that we were having a hard time selling. It was a late fall when we were trying to sell it. So it was partly the market at the time, but also partly the comments, the feedback we were getting. It was too close to the train tracks. Well, we can't change that. So nothing we can do about that. And the other feedback was that the kitchen was oak cupboards and it felt very outdated. And we might be able to do something about that. So my client looked into the different stains and whatnot, and she found one that looked like she'd be able to use it herself. And she was able to put it on with a rag and do the entire kitchen herself, and it looked amazing. So that was when darker was actually more popular than lighter. So a little easier to take your oak cupboards to darker than lighter, right? So it did, they were gorgeous. So she went to like an espresso color, which was very popular at the time. And just huge impact. And then also put on new handles. That was massive.
You can't put a coat of paint on the train tracks. We get rid of the trains.
Yeah, we can't.
So you gotta think of the next best thing.
Yeah. But honestly, like when we relisted it in, like we had taken it off over Christmas, January, relisted beginning of February, it sold within a couple of weeks after that.
Wow.
Yeah, so huge impact. But I mean, again, the market usually is starting to pick up late January and February. So it could have been a market thing. It could have been a combination of both, right? Like, but we wanted to take it off for Christmas because she didn't want to have showings like last minute while she's trying to get ready for Christmas. So,
but you want to do everything that you can and try and make your house more.
Yeah. So then she took the week
available
after Christmas that she had off and stained the kitchen. And then I feel like it made a huge impact. It looked so different and definitely more modern. If you're wanting to go lighter, you might have to go with paint, right? Because it's hard to stain lighter. And I don't know how white stain would look. I don't know. I'd have to look at it in real life.
That might be a little bit tricky.
Yeah. And I don't know if that would do it for making it look more modern, right? Like it would look different. Yeah. But there's definitely some nice cover paints out there.
That's true. And it's pretty low risk also, because if people want to completely replace the cupboards, then you're not pouring into a whole new cupboard system.
Right.
But it's just you're giving the illusion that it's more modern, so
Yeah,
less risk for the seller.
exactly. You could do a refacing, so just by doors.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
idea too.
yeah. It's a little bit more expensive, but not buying a whole new kitchen
Hmm.
and still updates it. Mhm.
At the end of the day, if you're a seller, you want to try and make money. You don't want to try
Right.
and break even.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But some of it's about saleability too, right? So sometimes it's
Very
about
true.
making your house more saleable.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what's our last point that we
Well,
have
I
here?
I think our small improvements to livability, the last one was insulation. And you were, I don't know, one of us was going to talk about Hydro has a program for that.
Yeah. So then you could, I believe it. You can go online and they have a list of requirements that you need to meet. But if you wanted to apply to have some more insulation installed on your home, then Hydro will be more than willing to give you a rebate for that. Um,
Yeah, you do have to apply first, and then I had friends rent the equipment and buy the insulation once they were approved, and they did the job themselves, and it ended up being free because they got all the money they spent back. So that was
so
really
that's
nice.
pretty sweet. And then
Yeah,
you can also make that when you're selling the place that there's new insulation so that their hydro and electrical bill should, or hydro, depending what they're heating their house with.
right.
But
Yeah.
you don't have to spend so much on heating your home because it should insulate a lot better.
Yes. Yes. It should have a huge impact on the bills, on the actual bills. I think she had printed off her actual for their prior year and the year after they did it, and then we're able to show like what impact it made because they had done it about maybe a year and a half prior to them selling their house. Yeah. So
Also, they'd
that,
have a good chunk of data to refer back to.
yeah. Looks like we missed one.
We missed landscaping.
We missed landscaping
It's
completely.
the only one that's on the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, first impressions are everything, and you don't enter the house from the inside first. You look at it from the outside.
That's
So,
right.
a good front lawn and even backyard too can make a big difference on curb appeal or livability.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the houses I showed this week, they had I always Google Street View stuff so you can see how it did look and then how it does look, right? And Google Street View, you couldn't see the house at all in the Google Street View because there was so many big trees and bushes and everything, right? Like in the front yard, and now like they have it listed and it's all like gone. It
So
looks
now you can
completely
actually see the
different.
house.
Yeah, you can actually see the house, and it is impactful. Another house I sold this past year, when we went to look at it, we literally could not see the front of the house. It was a house with an attached front garage, so you saw the garage and the driveway, and you saw like there was a sidewalk that went in, but it was like a tunnel to the front door because there were so many bushes and trees in the front yard. They were just so overgrown,
Mhm.
and when she moved in, she took all those bushes and trees down, and you can actually see the front of the house now. And
So
it's
how did
like,
they take pictures?
with, well, it's hilarious because they literally took pictures of the front driveway, right? Like you don't see any of the house in them. But I feel like it really impacted their sale because they didn't get multiple offers, and they ended up reducing their price by $50,000.
Wow.
Yeah, right. So I feel like my client got a really great deal on this house because of the few things that needed to be done outside. Now, that being said, some of them were bigger items. It needs fencing, which is going to be expensive because that's a big yard. But that being said, the stuff in in that neighborhood was selling 50,000 more, and same age of houses, they all need stuff, right?
Hmm.
Like every house needs something, right? So that one needed fencing. Everything else had already been done.
But that's
And
not
the
one of those instances where you can cut down the trees. Like
I
you'd
think
have to, yeah, and that's not cheap. If
no,
you,
it's
you're,
not cheap. It cost my client about almost $3,000. But if you think about it, like because she had someone do it, and the one tree was so big that there's no way you're doing that yourself. It would be dangerous. So yeah, I think she paid about $3,000 to get that done. And then, she hasn't like refinished the yard yet. So that's going to cost a little bit of money, but I mean, it's not even a huge space. So like what's sod going to be like? Maybe another $2,000 to resod everything. So $5,000 to not have lost 50.
That's you
right?
take that every day.
Absolutely, you would. Yeah. Now,
So
I don't know. Maybe they had a special relationship with the squirrel that was living in the tree and didn't want to take his house away. I don't know.
they didn't want to. They were being evicted, so they didn't want to evict the neighboring animals.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, but yeah. So that's some of the things that make a big impact for landscaping. But even adding some like color, some flowers, or a new layer of mulch so it looks fresh and not like
making sure your lawn is cut and maintained and
no dog poop. And
yeah, take notes.
Yeah. And also, we talked about restaining things like flooring, but restaining things like decks or all those old Barkman bricks. It's nice to pull them up and lay them fresh. Like it doesn't cost you. It's man labor, muscle labor, but it's really impactful because it makes them look so much more fresh when they're freshly laid. A little bit, maybe a couple of yards of sand to make them look nice, right? Like, yeah.
Like even if you have wood siding, you could paint the siding.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get some new life to the exterior.
Yeah. I've also seen people spray the stucco, which makes it look way better because it like, yeah, especially if you've had patches over the years or anything like that, or any like water staining on the stucco or whatnot, spraying it can be very impactful.
So what color did they do?
The clients that I had, I mean, this is several years ago, they went to a beige from the, very, what is it? Like a whitish color, whitish gray or whatever. They went to a beige. I don't know if I'd pick that color now. I think I'd maybe go gray or, yeah, but like, even going white again would be nice. Yeah.
You're not doing any bold colors. You're not doing a black or a red stucco.
No, I did see someone paint the front brick on one of these old Transcona houses with black, and then they did the stucco in like a light gray, and I'm like, holy mackerel, that like totally changed the look of this like little old like like dirty stucco and red brick.
It's amazing, the power of paint.
Right? Yeah, paint is amazing. So yeah, lots of ideas. Another one for a small improvement is those entryways.
Yes.
Doing something in the entryway, which is one of my, like, we were going to talk about our favorite feature upgrades, and that is one of my favorite feature upgrades is the entryway. Again, first impression, as soon as you walk in the house, if you have a decent sized foyer and can make it, some of these houses don't have front closets. And even if they do, they're hard to access. They're behind the door or whatever. If you can change it up and have it so that you have like some hooks and some pretty cubbies. Pinterest has a million ideas. And there's so many cute things that you can do instead of that very hard to use front closet, if there is a closet even.
That's true. You got to make do with what you have.
Yeah. We have, well, we'll talk about that when we talk about what are your favorite feature upgrades?
Well, one of the things that I like, it's a little bit more difficult to do in a renovation type standpoint, but if you have the option to add a little door, or it could be a small doggy door or a bigger door into your pantry from the garage. Then you can just shovel all your groceries in through there, and you're not walking around trying to make umpteen trips just to make it easy.
Access to the pantry from the garage is amazing for sure.
Yeah. And then another one that I like is making feature walls.
Yeah.
So you just paint only one wall in your room, or you put wallpaper or reclaimed wood or something, and then it just draws your eyes to that one point. And it's usually pretty affordable. You're not spending too much on doing that, but it can add some character to a room and make a big difference.
Yeah, huge impact. Yeah, I love, especially in the primary bedroom, when they do like the reclaimed wood in behind the bed. That's always pretty.
Yeah, it's a very
Yeah.
smart look. You just got to make sure that that wood doesn't swell.
No, for sure. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're getting the real stuff, you can go to uh, Home Depot or Rona or whatever and get fake stuff, but
Yeah.
not really the same.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah. I think one of the projects I did, we did stuff from Home Depot, but I know like other people who have done like real barn board and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know. Was there a smell? Maybe they sealed it or something. I don't know. Um,
Good question to ask, nonetheless.
yeah, right. Um, so my picks for favorite features are the mudroom or foyer cubbies / organizers. I absolutely love like when you have like a space for each person, places to hang their coats, the cubbies for all their stuff, maybe backpacks and stuff like that. I feel like it just organizes the whole area. I feel like when I'm showing houses and showing a house with that, buyers are always like really drawn to it. It's like, so like I feel like it has impact in that way as well, but I also feel like it's very functional.
Especially if you have kids too, and
Yeah.
you're rushing to send them out for school or whatnot, and
Yeah.
like you don't have to look around for their stuff. You just go,
It
here's your
should all
cubby, grab your jacket and your shoes, and get out the door.
yeah, it should prevent them from having to search the house for that other shoe. Hopefully.
They'll still find a way to throw it across the room or make it in the basement
Maybe.
or
Maybe.
blame it on the dog.
Yeah,
The dog took it.
exactly. But yeah, I love those ones. I also love a main floor laundry room, not just
Mhm.
not just like a closet or in the mud room. I like a separate room. If you were to come to our show home at 98-100 Grand Point Meadows, it's our condo show home. And the actual foyer and whole front area of the house where it's like mudroom / foyer is exactly what I love. You have a separate laundry room. You have a beautiful, huge foyer that you could easily put cubbies or some sort of really nice organizer, family control center area right there in the foyer, and it would be pretty. There's also a nice big closet as well, so like tons of space. And that laundry room has a door that you could actually close so that people don't have to see your messy laundry room, because even when they're organized, they're messy. You have laundry all the time. I love that laundry room. I think I would put it's you could easily have side by side laundry in there, but I think I would do stacking and have the sink next to it to
Mhm.
have that laundry sink, and then also put like some bars above so that you have somewhere to hang your clothes that don't go in the dryer. Like, even though it's a small room, I think you can make big impact with it, and there would still be room to put a freezer on the other wall because there's a plug there. You can tell I've really
You've
thought it
thought
out.
about this a lot.
I feel like it would be like the perfect size laundry room with other like utilitarian with it, with that,
And
yeah.
mhm. And now I think there's more emphasis on making sure that your laundry room is functional. A, because everyone's doing laundry, that's not going to go away.
Yeah.
B, is that people are staying in their homes longer. So once you start getting up to 60 and above and you're still living at home, you're not traveling up and down stairs to do laundry. You want to
Yeah,
make
it's
that as
becoming
easy
harder
as
to get.
possible. Exactly. So making that dedicated space as easy as possible and enjoyable for you to do your laundry, then by all means make it your own.
Yeah, and not everyone can have like our other show home has an amazing laundry room with cupboards and everything, but not everyone has the space for that much of a room, right? Like, so
Hmm.
even to have a smaller space like what's in the condo, it can still have a big impact because if it's like well thought out, right? Um, Another one that I really loved is actually not one of our listings, but it had the laundry room was attached to the walk-in closet. So you could either enter from the hall, but it also had a pass-through door to the walk-in closet of the primary bedroom.
Smart.
And I'm like, you could literally take your stuff and hang it in your closet with this motion. Right?
That sounds like my dream. Then I don't have to, I can just show all my clothes in the washer and then they just magically get washed. I don't know who's going to start it. It's not going to be me.
Well, Rhett, that is my dream, because I have been trying to talk my husband into putting the laundry in my walk-in closet.
You should.
Right in my walk-in closet.
It's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah. Because we can't figure out how to make main floor laundry here unless we put it in the main floor, the primary bedroom closet.
I think you have only one option.
Right? And I'm like, but yeah, no, he's like, that'll take away too much of the closet. I'm like, if we put a stacking in there, it only takes up a small amount of space. And I feel like it makes the whole area way more usable. And then if we upgraded the rest of the closet to pack system, you're making the whole space more usable than it currently is anyway. So
how much do you think about closets and washing machines? It sounds like that's all you think about. You got plans for every situation.
I've been married for 29 years, so I've been doing two people's laundry for 29 years. and the last 10 of it, my laundry is in the basement, which doesn't sound too bad, but my primary bedroom is on the north side of my house, and the stairs to the basement are on the south end of the house, and the laundry room in the basement is on the north end of the house. So it's as far away from my primary bedroom closet as it could be.
And you don't have the luxury of like a chute or something, because at my parents' house, where our bathroom is upstairs, there's a chute that goes from there underneath the closet to the laundry room downstairs. So you don't have to carry it. You can just open the chute, shove it down, and then it's there.
Yeah.
But
I don't find the carry down that bad. I find the carry up worse. Yeah. So no, I've been trying to talk him into doing that, but so far he hates plumbing. He hates doing plumbing. So that has prevented him from doing this. Yeah.
Get someone else to do it, or I don't know.
I agree. Yeah.
Because if he doesn't want to do it, then I think in his mind he's set on his ways.
Yeah, likely is not going to happen. Yeah, likely not going to happen. I'm just looking at our notes to make sure we didn't miss anything else. Looks like we caught it all.
I think so.
So we're at the point of going to here. Let's press this so that we have giving.
We're gonna give some flowers away.
Give some flowers, yeah.
You give some flowers first.
Okay, my picks of the I'll say the week, but probably a little bit more than a week, are Chris Lang at Lang Cochler Law. Chris has always been amazing since he started his firm in Transcona. He was very much a go-getter right from the start. My very first deal with him was crazy because my client had actually chosen a different lawyer in Transcona to deal with, and she was called 4 days before possession and told that they're already dealing with the seller, so couldn't also represent her. And with 4 days, and he was going on holidays and a bunch of other reasons why he didn't realize he was representing her. He had been sent the deal from the other side and from me, and they ended up both in the same file. So anyway, so I called Chris, who had just started his firm and had opened up a location basically within the same block as this lawyer. And Chris went across the street, got the file. My client was working with TD Bank, which was on the corner of the same block, went down to the bank and asked for the mortgage instructions. And he really, really came through for us. And so I think her possession was only delayed by 1 day, just to make sure he got everything done. And I think it took the mortgage instructions a little longer. Anyway, he got her done. She was thrilled. She couldn't believe that he pulled it off with such little time. And very happy, very happy. And, the majority of people I've sent to him say the same thing, when when you do need to get his assistance on something further, he's reactive. So that's good.
Mm-hmm. And that's what you want when you're dealing with such a large transaction as buying a house. You want someone who's able to communicate with you and keep you up to date. So
yes.
to have
Yeah.
someone like Chris is at your side is amazing.
And from the realtor side, I feel like they are really good at communicating like where the file's at times, where like, especially on longer transactions that have long possession dates and stuff like that, it's kind of nice. Most of the lawyers don't communicate with the realtors after we've sent them the documents and given them the client's contact information. So to have that update of where we're at in the process is really nice. So yeah, I do like that. Also, Chris has allowed us to be a drop off, or his office to be a drop off location for our hamper bin. So, so that's extra.
Keep that in mind.
So keep that in mind. Yeah. Yeah. So that's been great.
So what's the deadline that we have for the hampers then for drop offs?
The 11th of December.
Okay.
Yeah. And my other pick is Suds City, which is a laundromat. And and yes, I do have my own washer and dryer at home. But Suds
We're
City
back
is
to this topic about cleaning clothes. It's never going to go away.
No, there's always something else. I have two little dogs who, I don't know, these two seem to get sick so often, and you have no idea how many times it's on my bed. And it's like they go there because it's comforting and then puke. And so I have a huge king size bed cover that will not fit in my heavy duty machine. My heavy duty machine will fit most king size covers, but not this really big one I have in the winter. And I had it on my bed a couple of weeks ago for some reason. And one of them, of course, got sick on it. And so I took it into Suds City. And what I love about Suds City is she's very like, I usually leave it for them to wash and then go pick it up. And so she'll text you when it's time to pick it up and whatever. But they also have a form and to let you pick like what kind of detergent, what kind of I want to say Bounce, but I don't use Bounce in my laundry. I'm allergic to it. So like I can actually check no Bounce, scent free, everything, right? And they've never made a mistake. And I get like hives and everything from that stuff. So that's really important to me. And so to have a place that I can take stuff, when my washing machine head broke one time, I laughed because it was my fault. It was totally my fault. I put my camping pillows in it, completely not thinking of the fact that one of them was gel. Oh, so then you basically have like a 500-pound rock in your washing machine. So it pounded out, and I had left the house to go check on a listing we had. And when I came home, my washing machine was literally like pounded out, like on all four sides. And
it didn't shift your washing machine at all?
Oh yeah, it had come out from the plumbing too. So my husband was like, "Oh no, I hope it didn't wreck the plumbing." And it was a mess. It was awful.
Oh, anyway, sounds like it's awful.
And it was during COVID, so it was hard to get washing machines, right? Anyway, Costco to the rescue again.
Sponsor of the podcast, Costco.
Sponsor of our podcast. But yeah, but in the time it took to get one, because I think I still went without it for like 3 or 4 weeks. Sud City was amazing at getting my laundry done, and they'll even do a whole wash, dry and fold. Yeah. Wow. So you can literally pick it up completely done and ready to put away.
And I love how they find your needs, your specific needs are still met and not shown by the wayside and just ignored.
When we travel, it makes me appreciate them so much more when we travel, because when you travel, you'll have them agree, yeah, we'll do scent free. Yeah, we'll do scent free. And I don't know. It's so frustrating. You come back to pick up your laundry and like I can't even bring it in the car with me, right? Because it smells so bad. And I say bad, I mean it's whatever. To me, it just smells like chemicals. I'm sure to everyone else, it smells whatever it's supposed to smell like. But but because I'm allergic to it, it smells bad.
It's just amplified that much more.
Yeah, it doesn't smell like, what is it, fresh rain or whatever. It just smells like chemicals to me. And
smells like hives.
It smells like I'm gonna have hives. Yeah. See, I'm itching just talking about it.
Well, then we better switch topics. Don't think about laundry.
Don't think about my smelly laundry. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so that was Sud City, and they have been amazing. Every time I take my laundry there, they do a great job. And,
that's good.
And you can also do your own laundry there.
I'm glad you
pick it up.
Because it's probably a little bit of an extra cost to get them to.
It wasn't
wash
terrible. When I would send, like, I mean, again, we're only 2 people, but we still have lots of laundry, right? Towels and whatever else. So like when I was dropping it off, I don't remember spending more than $20, and I'm pretty sure it would have cost me at least 10 to do it myself.
Wow.
Right? So I'm like, if I can go and get work done and then come back and just pick it up, that's worth $10 to me.
That's a pretty easy investment.
Yeah, especially if you don't have the time to sit there. Yeah, because usually when we're doing laundry at home, we're able to do other things.
Right. Yeah. But then you have to spend the time to put it away and fold it or whatnot.
Yeah, exactly.
And if it's already folded, then you're one half the battle.
You're most way there. Yeah. So you have a couple picks as well.
I do. So my first pick is McNally Robinson Bookstore.
Which I love.
So I know it's kind of ironic because I've only been really getting back into reading over the last, I want to say half a year, maybe year tops. When I was younger, I used to read a lot. And then during my high school years, I don't think besides the book that a teacher gave me, in my spare time, I didn't pick up a single book ever.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just a teenage thing to do.
No, I think everyone goes through stages in life because, there's definitely years where I barely read anything. Yeah.
So I did not read a lot. And then I always loved reading about books that help me either communicate better or understand people better, or like nonfiction is my genre. I'm not big into fiction. I love learning about other people and hearing their stories and stuff. So that's my jam. So I love going to McNally Robinson and the store on Grant. I haven't been to the store in the Forks yet, but the one on Grant is great.
The one on Grant
always have tons of selection. Yeah. So whenever I'm picking up a few new books, I always head that way.
Yeah, it's always great to pick up your books, and they also sell like so many local products and stuff. So if you like to have a snack while you read, I always find that they always have something really great and local and new that you haven't tried yet.
Yeah, they have that little cafe in there still.
Yeah, they also have the cafe. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
So that's a shout out to that business. And then the other one is Caddy Shed Golf Stores on Portage Avenue there. And that one is very unique in the sense that there's not a big golf store like Golf Town is. Yeah. And for someone who's maybe wanting to get into the sport, doesn't want to buy something new, they have a ton of used stuff, as well as they do have a selection of new stuff. And Darren and Scott there, those guys are so personable. They're great. And even if you have clubs of your own that you want to go and trade, they'll always give you a price, give you a credit to the store, and then you can go out and choose something of your liking, whatever you want to get. Yeah. And you don't see too many, locally run stores similar to that these days.
Yeah.
And I've always gone there. I know buddies in my hometown, they support them, even that they're not locals of Winnipeg, but so personable, always willing to work within your needs, and give you great prices too, which when you get into expensive hobbies similar to golf and whatnot, you're always looking to save a penny or two if you can.
For sure.
So those guys are great.
That's amazing.
I got to get out and explore some more local businesses now that I'm considered a Winnipeg resident.
Well, there are definitely many.
That there is.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Perfect.
yeah. Anything else you want to sprinkle in here?
I don't know. I think that's everything.
I think so.
Yeah, sorry, just looking at my notes to see if we missed anything.
No, that's all good.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for watching, and make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for watching the Boschcast.
And we'll see you on the next episode, probably with James, not me.
We'll see.
We'll see about that.
Thanks, Rhett.
Yeah, thanks, Denise.
Bye.